a drill. This is not a drill. This is not a drill. This is a drill.
Okay, awesome. Hey guys, this is Julian of Julian Gray Media. It's been about a month and a half since I've done one of these, and we do these pretty regularly, if not every month, then every other month. And this is the October Fix Your Project live stream. If you aren't familiar with this series, essentially I have a Patreon account, and if you're a subscriber over on Patreon, you can submit a project file to every one of these streams, and we will work on it on the stream, and I will quote unquote fix it to my specification, or at least what I would change in your project file to make it a little bit more complete. So to start things off, we have I think 5 or 6 tracks today. We actually have 7 tracks today. We're going to spend about 15 minutes on each of these. Now that we started to pick up more and more projects each stream, I have to kind of limit the amount of time you spend on each of these to make it not take 3 hours long. We've done these that take 2.5 hours, and I'm trying to kind of limit it back. If we don't get to all of them today, and I'm trying to limit this to 2 hours, we'll go ahead and shift the projects to next stream. Okay, so without any further ado, I'm going to switch over to my desktop, and we're going to open up the first project file. This one is one of my actual students or mentees. His name is Spectral Friends. He's also the designer for Gradient Collective's art cover for the first volume, Colors Volume 1. That's my record label and arts collective. And definitely encourage you to go check out his design and art as well. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. Again, Spectral Friends is his name, and we're going to launch it in Ableton. Check. I just want to confirm that we aren't getting sound through a second time. There we go. Okay, cool. We should be good to go now, guys. And yeah. Okay, let me know that you can hear this before we start diving really deep into these, and we'll get started. Before I do this, I'm going to go into the chat, and we're going to read some messages. Too broke for Patreon. Can I send you Amazon monthly gift cards? That would be amazing, actually. I love Amazon. Is the loudness okay for everyone in the chat? Hey, Julian, your mic is way too low. Okay. Okay, I'm turning up my microphone. Let me confirm that this is a better level. Should be. It might actually be too loud now. Check, 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 check. I want to make sure everyone can hear me before we start diving into these projects. Okay, cool. Awesome. We can still turn it up a bit more. I don't want to clip the mic. Let's put it like right here. And then we will adjust the desktop audio accordingly as we go. So this is Spectral Friends. There's not a lot of issues with this one. I've actually heard this one in our private sessions, but we'll continue working on it for about 15 minutes, and we'll move on to the next one. So let's go ahead and give this thing a listen. Okay, there's a lot of things I'm liking about this. I think there's a few issues that I want to resolve. I think it takes a little bit too long to get from here to here. This is a good full minute of kind of building, and I think you can reduce some of that redundancy just by, you know, layering some things on top of each other instead of introducing every element one by one. So let's go ahead and go through here and see if we can cut some fat. Okay, first and foremost, this doesn't need to be 4 beats long. I'm going to trim that, and we're going to reset the grid by doing a time signature change. This is almost like a little lead-in, like a cadence, or like a I can't think of the official word for it, but it's basically this little lead-in instead of going for 4 full beats. So we'll go boom. Still too long. I'm only going to do it for 2. And again, this is just too long. I think we'll just trim some of this out. I want to make sure that we aren't losing our automation. So I'm going to shift this automation all over a bit. I think we can do that like this. Yeah. And then we'll just delete time like so. And then we'll readjust this so we don't lose it. Okay, that's a little bit better. And again, this can probably be consolidated down to like half the length. It doesn't have to be so long. I think people get bored listening to something for so long. So what I'm going to do is just trim all of this out. We'll move this automation over like so. And maybe we'll redraw that curve here. Shift this back to where it was like that. And then we'll just delete this part here. We don't really need it. Julian, I love that you're taking the time to work with all of us. Absolutely. I really enjoy teaching. How long does it take you to normally finish a project? That can vary between, you know, days and months. I hardly ever take more than 2 months to finish a project. All right, let's see if this worked better. We can even get rid of the first one of these. And I think this is awkward. Just get rid of that first transient. Maybe the first 2. Cool, and that's sounding sick. All right, let's listen to this again and see if it still drags. We cut about 30 seconds off of it, and I think it helped a lot. I don't know if we really even need this little cadence here. It's kind of overkill, I think. Let's just try this. Oops, unfreeze, refreeze. I think it's only frozen because it's a kick 2. just like it smacking you on the face, you know? No lead in at all. And officially, this should actually be right here. We want to stay within, you know, standardized time frames. I'm going to add a MIDI clip to the top here, and this is a trick I like to do called arrangement. Oops. And the reason I like to do this is I like to be able to loop sections quickly, but also it allows you to visualize exactly how long each section is. So let's call this like intro. Let's call this like lead in. Or we'll call it, oops, Command Shift M, wrong key, sorry. And we'll color this like blue, and we'll call this lead. Oops, doesn't look like it lets me type on that small of a clip, lead. And then we'll do another one of these, which is drop. And when you're DJing, and if you're familiar with the, you know, the live performance aspect of electronic music, you generally want to keep your tracks in chunks of 16 to 32 bars. The reason why you do this is because when you're playing a track out, you want kind of a uniformity to all your stuff, and by using these big chunks, we can keep that uniformity. So what I'm going to do actually is cut about 4 beats out of this previous bar, and then we're going to use that as a hold for this part right here that's kind of taking up a random amount of space. This is a full 16 bars, and this is a full 16 bars. And if we scrap this, then we'll be in the clear. Okay, let me get back to the chat. No one knows my true identity, I think. I don't know who you are. I'm on crappy headphones, but the bass lines cut through well. Awesome. We have Matt Fax just joined the chat. Matt Fax, the freaking Prague legend. I love you, Matt. Longest road to the ground is a babe. Yes, it is. Okay, so I'm going to remove this chunk right here, like I said. And as you can see, now these are lining up on a 16th note grid. So as you can see, 2, 6, 10, 14, 18. It's right landing in the increments of 16 notes. The only reason it's not landing on 16 is because we have this additional bar at the front here. And that way we have a uniform playable track now. This little lead in nobody cares about when you're DJing. You'll want to start right here when the drums start anyway. So let's go ahead and give this thing a go. Hey, we have Manime Matt in the chat. He's an incredible anime YouTuber. Met him at a YouTube convention thing, and he's really cool. We gotta hang out soon, man. Okay, so I think your percussion could use some more discrepancy as well. Let's try a little bit of filter on that so we can kind of, you know, make it a little bit more subdued at the beginning and then bring it in. So I'm gonna add a resonant low pass filter here, and we'll just bring it up slowly. Okay, cool. And that's sounding more like a build-up to me. Make this a little bit more interesting. I'm going to add some delay to this percussion channel, and we're going to gradually bring it up over time. I think that'll make it a little bit more hectic. We'll do that with a dry-wet knob on the delay, and we'll drop it down when we hit that break right here. So let's try that. Manime Matt, what is the best way to reach you? Twitter? Kick could be a little louder. And we're coming in really hot on the master here. I'm gonna turn everything down just a little bit so that we aren't clipping into the master channel here. Go ahead and hold shift, highlight all, and drag it down maybe like 3 or 4 decibels. I'm gonna do a full 5 actually. Okay. What we can actually do is put a limiter on this master, and I think that will really pull the whole thing together. So I'm gonna grab Ozone 8 Elements. I have not gotten the newest one yet. The what do you call it? The Ozone 9 and Neutron 3 yet, but I probably will get that soon, and we'll do a review on the channel. David Ethan says, what do I got to do to get you to fix my project? So these streams are for patrons of the channel. If you go over to patreon.com/Julian Gray, if you make a pledge subscription there, above $10, I believe it is, for the Patreon or for the live stream class, you can submit your project files to here and then get them fixed on the channel. On a live stream like this, or there's also other benefits as well. You can join the Discord with a rank, you can access the Discord channels, and you can download my project files as well. So I think $10 is worth that. Okay, so I just applied a little bit of a master limiter on, and I think this is going to make a big difference. Turn it down about 0.1 decibel so that we aren't clipping into the master, and also it kind of helps with MP3 compression. Okay, so I'm gonna save this guy. I don't want to work on these for too long. Again, I have 7 of these, and we don't want to take an astronomical amount of time, so I'm going to try to limit each of these to 15 minutes. That was Spectral Friends Needs Pad project. I don't know what the final version is going to be called. So next up we have this one called 110 BPM Program and Control project. I don't know what this is called or the actual artist name, but we're gonna work on it anyway. If this is your project, make sure to say it in the chat. And again, I remind you guys, if you want to submit projects to future streams, make sure to put your name in the project file so that I know who's sending it. Okay, 110 Program and Control, ALS. Let's go ahead and open this. Yeah, absolutely, Eric. Thanks for sending it in. Okay, next project. Oh boy, how do you like my new webcam, guys? I think it's pretty good. I'm gonna switch back while we load this project in. While we're loading up the next project, do you guys have any questions for me, or anything that we can discuss? 110 BPM by program control. Ah, I see. That makes sense. Okay. All right, it's loaded up. And yeah. Matt Fax says, I'll send you my project so you can finish them. Yeah, send me our collab so I can finish it. I think I actually have it. I just need to work on it. Okay, this is 110 BPM by program and control, I guess. And we're going to give this thing a listen and work on it.
Time is a construct. And the worst thing is, we live in it. People think mirrors that can move through time. Program and control. Do you understand? People think there's one reality. try some of your food, and they film you. The whole thing's a metaphor. And we live in it. Go along for the ride. Do you understand?
Maybe.
Program and control. Do you understand? Go along for the ride. Do you know what PAC stands for? The whole thing's a metaphor. Program and control. Program and control.
I think this one has a lot of cool ideas. I think it really needs a little bit more structure. I feel like there's a lot of scatterbrained musical ideas here, and there's not a lot of cohesion. The drop is better. The drop feels more together, but there's definitely some work we can do on it. I'm going to go ahead and do the same trick we did for Eric and work on the arrangement as well. Going to go ahead and add a MIDI track, call it arrangement. I don't think I spelled that right, but you get the gist. And we'll add a clip for each of these as well, so we can identify how long things are relative to each other. It's a really good idea to keep things, consistently long. If your intro is much longer than your drop, that's probably not a good sign. So it's a intro.
Time is a construct.
Build up.
And the worst thing is,
Drop.
we live in it. Do you understand? The whole thing's a metaphor.
I would consider this another build up. This part's alright. So, like people are saying in the chat, I think the kick is really pretty bad. I think that's the first thing I'm going to adjust. Matt says, got to dip out. Good luck with those projects. Yeah, awesome. Thanks for tuning in, man. So, okay, let's get started on fixing this kick. I think that's the main issue I'm having with the mix so far. Kick is extremely, weak. Let's see what you've got on here. So there's not a lot to this kick. It just sounds like a sub. So what I'm going to do is actually add in a MIDI channel, and we're just going to convert the whole track to MIDI, and I'm going to swap your kick out because I think this this really needs a different kick sample, and yeah, this is just not happening. So what I'm going to do is consolidate all this. I think your sample selection in a song can make or break a song, and this is a very prime example of that. I think that the sample is really dragging the song down. And yeah, I think we can fix it. So I'm going to right click and then I do convert drums to MIDI channel. And we're going to use MIDI to redo these drums and make them sound better because these are pretty weak. I think largely in part due to the kick. Okay. Come on, load, guys. We have 40% more. While we're loading this, let's ask some questions. Do you have any questions for me, production-wise, or anything like that? About my new monitor speakers you may have seen on Twitter. I just got new monitors. Or anything else, Tor, whatever. Because it's going to take a second. I'm converting this MIDI to drums to MIDI, and it's 25% right now. Tone Deaf says in the chat, a lot of the time it's the wrong sample, easy fix. Yep. Big truck going by. A lot of the time, you're right. Like 80% of the battle is getting the right sample or right sound. The mixing is not the fundamental problem. Okay, we're at 47%. I'm still loading, guys. This is gonna take a minute, but I think when it's done, it'll be worth it. Have I treated my room? I have slightly. I have bass traps in the corners of the room so that I don't have an echo chamber in here. It catches a lot of the high frequencies actually that get caught in the corners, and they kind of kill off the echo. When there wasn't bass traps in my corners, this room's an echo chamber. You can kind of still hear that it's very, like, there's still an echo in here, but it's not the worst. And that's largely in part due to the bass traps in the corners. Can you do a cooking vlog? Yes, I will. What do you want me to cook? Like a chicken? That would be so like sacrilege. Got any upcoming projects? I'm working on wrapping up an EP right now, and I'm also working on some other bigger projects that I don't want to announce just yet. So yeah. Congrats. Didn't see they came in. How do you like your new monitors? I think they're the best monitors I've ever heard. I've been in love with these things for years. I just couldn't afford them until now, and I didn't really see the pressing issue of getting new ones until now, but I was working on like my studios or my friends' studios and stuff, and I noticed how bad my monitors sound in comparison, even with like full calibration software and stuff. So when I figured that out, I was like, I need new monitors. So I got Focal Shape 65s matte fax. Incredible, really, really awesome low end with the passive radiators on the sides. The low end's super tight, and it still has a decently good range at the bottom. Okay, I'm answering one more question, then we're going back to business. Do you feel comfortable mixing on your monitors? Yeah, I don't mix in headphones. Okay, cool. Back in business. We have drums to MIDI now, and what I'm going to do is just isolate one of the two channels, and we'll use probably the bottom one. Seems like there's two layers that are unnecessary. What we're going to do is highlight everything with Command A, drag everything up so we have full velocity, and then drag them down a bit. And then now we have a uniform kick that we can use, and just get rid of this one. This is awful. No offense, man. Kick. Okay. Drum pack. Let's go ahead and just load in a kick sample. I think that'll help a lot. Cook a honk. Honk, honk, honk. I would never kill a goose. I would never cook a goose. I think geese are the cutest animals in the entire world, and I would never hurt a goose. Okay, let's see if we can figure out the key of this.
Time is a construct. And the worst thing is, we live in it. People think mirrors let you move through time. Program and control. Do you understand?
Yeah, whatever that first note is it. And D sharp. Okay, cool. And I'm gonna grab a kick in D sharp, or a relative key of D sharp, like the 5th or the 3rd. None of these are really screaming to me either, but it's better than what was there. Let me make sure that's on the right note. Okay. Geese are friends, not food. You're 100% right. Yeah, that kick sounds like a sine wave. Okay. Let's check all of your drums together now with the new kick. I think that might help. Although that kick is still terrible. That's a little better. Maybe that one. the D sharp ones are not the move for some reason. Let's try D. Let's do that one and then transpose up a semitone. Yeah. And Delicious is in the chat, boys. We got another gradient guy in here. Okay, I'm gonna turn the clap up. Let's get rid of some of that reverb. I think there's way too much. And then we'll check our EQ. We want a little bit more high end. I want it to crunch. I don't want it to be like quiet like that. And I'm actually going to turn all these down. I think we're hitting the chain a little bit too loud, so I'm going to dial it back about 4 decibels pre-chain. And then we'll turn it up at the end of the chain so we aren't clipping. No actual difference here. It's just visually it's better to look at. And also you don't have to deal with mid-chain clipping, which is not a good practice, especially in the analog world. It's not the worst, but it's still not good. I'm gonna turn this decay down a bit. I don't wanna ruin the clap transient with reverb. I'm gonna give it some more top end. You guys seem to be afraid of top end. I think that's one of the most important things about a good mix is a lot of top end that really crunches through and makes it crispy. Not in love with that, but it's better than it was. I'm gonna EQ the kick a bit. Yeah. Snare is pretty bad too. Yeah, again, you're burying the top, and I don't know why you're doing that. I always actually shoot for the opposite. I want my drums to be very bright. They really punch through when they're brighter. And let me see, do you have anything on the yeah, let's get rid of that immediately. Turn the claps down just a little bit. I don't have whatever that plugin is, but and for this snare, I actually want some more reverb. Let's go for high reverb though. I'm gonna catch some of those nuances of the reverb with some compressor. Okay, that's much better. I'm gonna go ahead and solo that with our bass. Rather than change your entire song up, I'm just gonna try to mix what you already have. I think this sounds a bit cheesy. I'm gonna group that and put some distortion or something on it. It's a little too like standard. Maybe some pedal. Maybe something like that. I don't know. It's still just kind of harsh on the ears. I don't like it. Okay, I like your bass actually. I don't like whatever the high information is going into that. It sounds very cheap. Sub sounds good. Yeah, that one especially sounds like really cheesy. I'm gonna unfreeze this. I'm assuming that, what is this, kickstart? Yeah, okay, delete. We'll just redo the sound for you. This is maybe some FM or something. And we'll make this like a different shape. This is kind of maybe we'll do like a filter. I don't know. It's just I don't like this sound, man. Helps, yeah. I mean, so I'm gonna do the bass and our drums together, and I want to see if I can get these sounding good together, and we'll deal with all the top end information later. Unfreeze this. I think the only thing you have that I don't have is kickstart, but we're just gonna put a sidechain on the group anyway. It doesn't matter. I hate Ableton's stock EQ, or I'm sorry, OTT. I don't have one of your noises for Serum. That's weird. Let's get rid of this like with automation. I think that's not the best thing ever. I don't hate your growl. It needs some like crunch in the top end, which you don't have. Tiny bit better, I think. I don't know. I'm not in love with your sound design here. I think the sounds could be improved. Let's go ahead and check out some comments. Some flanger might sound sick. Yeah, on the top end one, right? Lower an octave on the FM sound, maybe. Yeah, that could work as well. Hey Julian, would you ever do another from scratch video? Yeah, I really want to do like a progressive or electro from scratch, maybe even techno, but I just haven't had the time to record it. I've been on tour, so when I get back and I'm finished all this music I'm working on, we'll do another one.
Program control. Short stage. Go along for the ride. Jump packs for.
And there's some weird melodic discrepancies in here too. Like there shouldn't be notes that are in here as well. Like let's check.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114,
Like that second note, for example, shouldn't be in there. It's the wrong note.
Programming.
I think that, okay. Let's try to work on this right here again. It's just serum. That's fine. We can work with this. So I'm gonna try to fix your melody here.
Programming control. Short sighted. Down on the floor line.
So I want that same rhythm over and over. I think if we don't have that same repeating rhythm, you kind of lose the listener. It feels very sporadic and weird.
Programming control. Short sighted. Down on the floor line. Jump pad sounds forward. The whole thing's beautiful. Programming control. Short sighted. Down on the floor line. Jump pad sounds forward. The whole thing's beautiful.
See how that makes more sense now? It's because I dialed back a lot of the notes you had and I simplified the rhythm a bit more. And I think with the bass now, that'll sound much more cohesive. Let's go ahead and do that. See how that makes more sense? Is there a setting that plays the MIDI note when you move it? It's this button right here. The headphone button. See how that makes a lot more sense? There's not so much melodic discrepancy. It feels more together. This is very all over the place. And I think this kind of wraps that up a bit more. I'm not going to redo your whole thing. I'm just trying to make the certain parts of it sound presentable a bit. So I'm gonna grab this and copy it here. And then we'll check that with the other leads. With some reverb, that would be nice. I don't know. I'm trying to not use third-party reverbs and stuff too, so that you can open the project again. This is a building sound, and it doesn't. It has all this low end, so it's creating this really weird harmonic discrepancy, like dissonance rather, not discrepancy. Down at the bottom, I'm just gonna high pass it. See, that makes much more sense to me. And I'm gonna copy this to this guy as well. Unfreeze, and I think we got ourselves a melody. See, these notes don't match the other stuff you have going on. You need to make these all kind of compatible. So you're going from a C to a B on every other instrument but this. So I'm gonna try to make this follow the same pattern. Yeah.
Short-sighted, paddling for the line, jetpack tactical, perfect tactical.
Yeah, that's weird too. Okay, so we'll just deactivate that.
Negative.
Program control. Short-sighted, paddling for the line, jetpack tactical, perfect tactical. Program control. Program control.
Yeah, I think this one needs a lot of work, man, but those are some of the things I would change about it. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. We're going to move on to the next one, but keep working on it. I think it could have some potential if you do. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save, replace, and collect all and save. Yeah, there's a sound playing in the background that's totally off key, and that was kind of like MattFax said in the chat. There's some stuff that's harmonically dissonant. And I think what I would do is go through and check that all of your MIDI is in the same note or the same chord. Whenever you're playing a chord, you don't want to have a note that's not in the key in that. Okay, so next up we have, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and trash this. As we go, I'm going to start removing the zips and then keeping the folders. Okay. Yeah. Next one is decreased connection. I'm not sure who this is either. Again, when you submit projects, please put your name in it so that I know who is project I'm working on. Okay, loading up. Let's go ahead and have some questions while it does. Do you guys have any questions for me or any other ideas? I'm thinking about starting to stream me writing music. Let me know if you'd be interested in that, like long form streaming similar to how Deadmau5 used to on Twitch, just because I don't have a lot of time to make full-length videos anymore, so I think I could kill two birds with one stone making videos out of my production sessions. If you'd be into that, let me know. Okay, so we have loaded up and we are ready for the next one. All right, let's go ahead and check this out. I'll help you with your next Fix Your Project live stream, MattFax says. That would be awesome. Matt's an amazing producer. You should go check out his new thing with Morgan Page, the Longest Road, mashup. It's really cool. All right, let's go ahead and check this one out. This one's 110 again. Come on, guys, give me some 128. This is actually tight. God, that kick though, Jesus. All right, a few things stand out to me first. Everything is too loud. Notably this kick drum, Jesus. That should not be at plus whatever that is. Let's turn that down. What I'm gonna first do is try to balance out this percussion levels, because right now it's a big mess. Your biggest issue on this guy is mixing. 500%. I think that the ideas there are cool. It just needs to be mixed properly. And why is your master down 13? That's weird. I'm gonna put this back up. This might be much louder, guys, so be wary of that. I think this might be another case where the kick is the problem. Again, I don't know why you guys like to do your drums and audio. It wastes so much time. Because now I have to go and I have to replace every single kick if I wanted to replace this. I'm not going to do that just because the last time we did it took forever. You should not do this. Delete that immediately. We'll just give it a slight boost here, and we'll give it a top boost. See how much better the kick sounds without that EQ on it? I'm going to go ahead and turn this up. Nice. Let's get that snare sounding okay. Snare sounds awful because there's a lot of drag in the low mid. Go ahead and just delete it. Give it some top end and give it some volume. Immediately that's better. Kick could use a little bit more crunch, I think. Maybe we can try a drum bus. Drum bus is pretty good at facilitating a little bit of artificial crunch. Obviously that's too much. Yeah, there we go. Got some nice crunch out of there now. That pre-EQ actually, just do another EQ, and we'll do a similar curve. Yeah, there we go. To put on what Julian said, when putting your drums in audio directly in Ableton, you might have a fade in the beginning that might cut the transient of your kick, snares, whatever. Yeah. Definitely shouldn't do your drums in audio unless you're doing very specific type of drums. It's much more efficient to do them with a sequencer. And again, this kick could probably be a different sample, but I don't feel like swapping it right now because it's going to take a 5-minute process because it's in audio. But I think for what it is now, this is much stronger. Hat is suffering the same issue that the snare was. I don't know why you're boosting the mid. I think we need to get rid of all of the mid actually, like so. Give it some high end to give it some crunch. Turn it up. And I really, really, really wish this was MIDI so I can shorten the transients on here. Unfortunately, I can't. I'll just do it on a few so I can show you exactly what I mean. These transients are way too long. Let me just dial this in like that. Yeah. They hit harder when you have a short transient like so. So I would do that, but again, it's in audio, not MIDI. Maybe we can use a transient shaper, but you probably don't have the kilohertz transient shaper. It's pretty obscure. We can try it with a compressor. I'll just do a slight delay on the attack time, and we'll see if we can get some of the transient out. I'll put this at 0. Yeah, that kind of works. That's better than it was, that's for sure. Let's go ahead and check these toms. I don't know why these aren't playing. Oh, you have it automated. For some reason, you have it automated all the way down. I'm assuming these are not supposed to be here. This is a no-no curve. Again, you don't want to boost too much past like maybe 1 to 2 decibels. When you're boosting a lot, you're kind of dragging the whole curve down because you're making the peaks of this region like astronomically higher than everything else, so then everything else moves down. There's this EQ theory that an engineer taught me once, and the idea is that cutting the low end like this is no different than boosting. I'm sorry, cutting the high end like this is no different from boosting the low end, because this curve right here, as you can see, is exactly the same as this curve, right? So that curve and this curve are exactly the same, with the difference of like 4 decibels or 5 decibels or whatever the difference between here and here is. So what I'm saying is when you boost a lot of the top end, you're inadvertently removing the bottom end, or vice versa. I just showed you the opposite. So if you're boosting the low end, you're inadvertently lowering the top end because the entire information of the signal is now favoring the bottom end, and you're essentially dragging your lows or your highs when you boost the bottom. You're removing the top end when you're boosting the bottom end like that, and it's not good practice to boost so heavily because then the entire curve shifts downwards and you just end up with a really unbalanced signal. There we go, that's a little better. I'm gonna go ahead and solo the percussion now. I wanna see if that sounds good together. It's not perfect, but it's definitely better. All right, and let's hear that with our basses now. Okay, and then for that sidechain, I want to tune it a bit. So I'm going to listen for only the click of the kick, and then I want to make the ratio a little bit higher so we cut more, and then we want to make it immediate so that as soon as the kick hits, it's cutting that bass out. And we get this kind of effect when you do that. This is still pretty unbalanced mix. I think the basses are too loud relative to the drums, but it's better. It's getting better. I'm gonna unfreeze this and apply that same compressor to this as well, the sub, and then we'll put this on almost everything else. Okay, so let's go ahead and listen to the basses with the melody now. And stop with this surgical EQ nonsense. Like there's way too many of these points in here. You don't need that many. You only need to do minor roll-offs. That's about the extent of what you'll need actually. You don't need to do like 50 EQ points with little surgical cuts. It just ruins the integrity of your sound. And I think you really should keep this guy going in the drop. So you should not automate your gain on your channel. It discourages you from making quick mix adjustments, which are vital. I keep on having like disc dropouts for some reason. Don't know why. Okay, let's listen to everything now. Okay, I really like where this is going. That white noise also sounds really low, mid inspired. I'm just gonna high pass it and give it some more top end. And I think this is gonna help that a lot. All right, let's see. And same for this guy. You just have a lot of lows in your stuff that you really don't need. You just want to have a little slight curve and give the highs a boost. Okay, so the bass needs to come up a little bit more to match the other basses now. Kind of tricky, and it seems like a lot of your project files, I'm talking in a general sense to all of you, the mix is the biggest issue, yeah. Okay, so let's see what you did with the ozone elements. Oh man, do I not have... I don't have elements, I have the real deal. So we'll just use the demo for now, and I'm just gonna increase this limiter a bit. See that little I feel like this is too high. You lose a lot of the energy here because you're losing the lows. So maybe we can go. That high-pitched little squeal thing was sick. This is very like 1788L or Blank or those guys. It reminds me heavily of that. I'm gonna go ahead and do some EQ on this little guy too. I think it has too much low end. There's lots of stuff I would do to this one. I can keep working on this one for a while, but I don't want to, spend too much time on each of these. I'm gonna go ahead and save this one. I think this one's sounding really, really cool. Definitely keep working on it. Whatever that effects is way too loud. Jeez. Like way, way too loud. I don't know why my computer's having a heart attack playing this project file. Utility, turn it down. And this stuff could use like reverb and stuff too that I think would make the sound so much stronger. Like, let's try like a... You know, and then you start gradually fading it out as you go. I think that would be really sick. Like one of these. That's weird. I don't know what this is about. Yeah, there's lots of cool ideas to this one, guy. I think you should keep working on it. Reference the first drop if you want to see what I did to it. Okay, next project file. Nice. Okay. We're at project number 2, and it's already been an hour. We might not get through all these guys. We might have to move some of them to next time. Actually, we've been through 3. We'll do 4 to 5 today, and then the next ones will move to the next session. Tidris, I'm sorry. I think we might move yours to the next one just because we have a bit too many, and I don't want to be streaming for 3 hours. But we'll try to make the next one sooner than later. We'll do this one and then one more. Okay, back to the chat. Whilst we load in, Matt Fact says that reverb thing was sick. Maybe not during the melody change though. Yeah, a variable reverb, like turning your reverb up in a breakdown or something like that, or drying something out right before a drop, I think really adds to the dynamic of the sound of the song. It adds a lot of dynamic to the sound as well. Cool. Okay, so we're gonna open up 0.2%. I don't know who did this one either. Yeah, we're gonna check this one out. Matt Fax is leaving, guys. Say goodbye to Matt. Thanks for coming on the stream, man. If you're a progressive fan, you probably have heard of Matt Fax. He has an incredible new record with oh my God, Morgan Page. And it's really cool. You should go check it out. All right, let's give this thing a go. This is more like it. This is what I signed up for right here. Oof. That is really good. So I don't have his plugin diffuse or wider, but I think we can still work with this and make it sound good. This is so good, man. Ah, man, that's so sick. There's a few things I would change on here. Again, the arrangement's kind of weird. You don't really have it arranged yet, I noticed. There's no, like... Similar to the first project we looked at today, I think there's a lot of redundancy. It doesn't have to be this long. You can probably cut parts of this out and make it shorter. I'm gonna reset the grid here. I think the delay might be a bit much too. I also think this guy right here could probably come in earlier too. Maybe just hold out the first note though, like so, just as a different version. We'll probably only do it for about that long. Make sure automation lock is on and do this. Yeah. I personally think you could probably, ditch the kick right here and just go straight like Bliss for a second. I think that'd be so beautiful. Maybe we can go to this note instead here. Oh boy. Maybe open it up. Ah, it's so beautiful, dude. Oh man. And open it up slowly. And maybe some reverb, like. Talk about a banger. Man, this is great. Put these here, like. Okay, and then the snare is pretty much the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. We're gonna have to fix that. This is such a good track, jeez. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dial this in, make it a one shot, and we're gonna shorten up this transient. That makes it really punchy and nice. And what I'm gonna do, I think these are all, yeah, they're all layers of the clap. So I'm gonna group these together, and what we're gonna do is do an EQ curve on the group. Way too much low end in that clap. They need to be really short and sharp. Yeah, exactly like that. So good. Okay, snare needs to come down in volume. And the clap needs to come down in volume too. What I'm gonna do actually is sidechain this to the kick. That's gonna make the transient extremely short. Let's go ahead and do that. And I want to delay this out so that you get some of the transient, maybe like 100 milliseconds. Oops. Ah, it's so good. All right, now let's hear that in the mix. And the hi-hat's way too quiet, jeez. Still think a little bit too much mid in that clap. Yeah, there it is. I wish I could turn the delay down on this synth, but I can't find it. When you get it back, man, turn the delay down. I think it's too much. so good. Ah, the drums are so good. I'm even thinking you can do like a nice little tom. This is very like Lane 8. This never happened. Ah, man, this is a banger. Whoever's track this is, send me a DM. I want to release this. One of these guys. Oops. That is not the right thing because we're in triplet. Bam. Yeah. Whew. Whew. That's a heater. Jeez. Oof. That main melody's so good, man. All right. Let's go ahead and give this thing a listen through, and then we'll move on to the next boy. I'm going to put these in here, too. This is my favorite of the day so far. Oh man, that's so good. Like if you put some reverb on here, it would be a done deal. Maybe some like Roth air. Woo! I'm sorry, this one, I'm excited about this one, man. You gotta finish this. Woo! Oh man, that's good. And then there's like Roth air. Essentially, what it does, it adds top end, and Roth air into Valhalla is like a dream. Check this out. See how it's floating now? Whew. We got Tin Liquor in the house, man. man. So, Roth Air, my good friend 28mm showed it to me. I'll show you what it does. It introduces high information to your sound. So, here's without it. See how it introduces a lot of high information? That's what creates that like dreamy atmospheric crunch. All right, man, this was my favorite of the day by far. You're hitting all the Julian Gray points, and not 0.2%. Whoever this is, fantastic job, and I will be in contact with you because this is great. Okay. Next up, we have Too Many Video Games. This one's by Stephen Robertson. And he's another one of my mentees. If you didn't know, I offer mentorship for my highest level patrons, and he happens to be one of them. Before we get into this next track, if you have any questions or comments for me while this loads, we will cover them. Okay, skip missing. And yeah, Roth Air is a free plugin that everyone should have. It's amazing, and I think it's a game changer if you're making like trance and progressive. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and load up the project. Here we are. I'm missing some of his plugins, so there's not much we can do with this one. But let's go ahead and give it through a listen, and I'll give you some, thoughts on it. I am excited for EDC, and yes, I will probably watch Group Therapy. So there's lots of cool ideas here. It's coming off a little cheesy to me. I think that might be the sound design. This especially is very cheesy because it's just an arpeggiated major or minor chord. I think we can make this a little bit more interesting if we change up the style of the arpeggio to something different and maybe add an octave. Like that. Maybe like diverge. I don't know, just mess with the still not my favorite chords, but they're better than, just the standardized ARP. And I think your chords that you have here are a little bit boring. I think we can work on these, make them a little more interesting. Let's add a fourth, and then let's add a seventh. I don't know, just add some extra voices. Yeah, it's a little bit better. It's not so standard now. I prefer that much to the one you had. As for your drums and stuff, same stuff I've been telling everyone. Just needs a little subtle EQ curve on the kick. Turn up the drums. This guy could probably use for a little bit of high pass. I don't think it needs so much low. Clap is very weighted. I think we can ditch some of the low end on that as well, and we can get a better result. Shorten it up a bit too. And then for the snare, we're going to do the same thing. And yeah, I think that'll help. Yep, immediately better. This kind of, I don't want to say, it sounds like a Banjo-Kazooie or like some old Nintendo game, but it kind of does. I think we can make this more interesting with some processing. Let me try some OTT on this. I'll do some high pass EQ. And then we'll do some sidechain. Maybe that'll help make this less weird. And we'll do kick post effects, and we'll do, you know, my standard sidechain curve, something along these lines. Still not totally in love with this sample, but it's definitely better now than it was. Let's try to hear it in the mix now. I think it's just the rhythm of these vocals is just weird. I think like you'd be better off without the vocal even. And also that little lead-in thing you have, I think this. Nope. Wherever that little 8-bit sound is the wrong key. This. There it is. Yep, immediately better. I'm gonna try a slightly different curve on this this pad. I think too much top end. And I think you need some mid in there too. So I'm gonna go ahead and add in a MIDI channel, drag this down, and we're gonna delete everything but the bottom notes. And we're gonna make a bass. I think you don't have enough mid bass, and I think that's gonna really fill out your track. Yeah, the vocals have got to go. Somebody asked me, tell us about your last night with the mouse. I saw him briefly when I played on the Cube tour this last like 2 weeks ago. Didn't share many words with Joel. I just said hi. drop this down. Okay. Something about this doesn't sound right. Is that like an EQ or something? Yeah, okay. So I want some of that high end back, and it seems like it's missing. Maybe we can do that with an EQ. Give it some top boost and a low reduction. It might help. And I think your chords are conflicting with your bass line a bit here. I think you might want to address that. Like your sub is not the same notes as your bass is. So that might be something to look at. I'm gonna duplicate this once more actually, and we're gonna go up an octave and try like maybe a mid pad might help as well. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll just copy the main MIDI from this, and we'll use this and try that. And maybe we can add like a bass note, like a drag these down an octave maybe. Might help. I don't know. Nah. Maybe if we did like a And again, there's some weird like harmonic dissonance in there. You might want to address that before you start to you know, finalize the song. I think there's a lot of good ideas here. I know you're a newer producer. I think this is a good starting point. I think you should continue working on it and maybe rework some of the chords. I don't think the vocals need to be there, and I think your drum sample selection was good. It just needed a little bit of mixing. So that's that one. I think we're going to call this a wrap for this stream, guys. The two projects that are left, I think we're going to move to the next project stream because, again, we've already covered like 6 of them and it's been 2 hours. So I try to cap these at about 2 hours long. So thank you guys for watching. I'm going to switch back to my camera. Thank you for watching, guys. If you guys want to participate in next month's stream, you can go over to Patreon, create a pledge subscription, and you can submit your project files. You also get ranks on Discord, access to exclusive Discord channels. You get access to my project file downloads for stuff that's not on record labels, and you get access to these live streams as well. So if you're interested in any of that and you want to check it out, go check it out on patreon.com/JulianGray, and I will see you guys in the next video. I will talk to you next time. Bye. If I can find the end button for the stream, that would be wonderful, but I've just found it. Okay. Goodbye, guys.